Grandmama used to pray, oh Lord, please save them from the evil snares and all the dangers that entangle. Yea, though they walking through the valley of the shadows, just prepare and make them fit for every battle, because I know they bound to come, and I know they bound to fall, but in your bounty, Lord, preserve their beautiful. Right, we still surviving off of grandma's prayers, surrounded by the jungle and the lion's den. Tread light, cause these traps is inconspicuous. They hide right in plain sight, thinking we don't see them when they linger. Look right beneath the surface, then leave a trail of corpses. Crisis, prices, your life a disposable commodity, like living in a fantasy, conditioned to believe that the system even cares whether selling CDs or walking or driving or reading. Look, they don't even need a reason, it's just you breathing and being black. When it's such a pretty fall, it don't seem like we falling at all, at all. It's just a GMO dream, where things are never really what they seem. Please cue the violins, tell them just to play me something pretty, cause this gritty city got me screaming bloody murder. Said it got me screaming. This gritty city got me on some. Look, get your hand up on my pocket. Distraction, so lazy they use the same tactics, like condom with some trinkets. Just don't let them get to thinking. That light bulb gets a blinking. You know niggas and ideas. Oh dear, my dear, you may not know me, but I know you very well. Foresight, they say hindsight is 2020. Well, tell me something, we gotta see that history is on repeat, and maybe it takes a beat and a melody to speak a little louder than the message in the clouds or the essence in the air. I swear, my God is just so clear that a system driven by fear can never give us nothing but more of the same things. Oh, when it's such a pretty fall, it don't seem like we falling at all. It's just a GMO dream, where things are never really what they seem. Please cue the violins, tell them just to play me something pretty, cause this gritty city got me screaming. It's murder. Got me screaming, got me. This gritty city got me on song.
Peace, good people. Hope everything is great with all our people out there in Black Power Media land. Man, it's been a rough one, but we're here and we're grateful to be here. Today, first of all, I hope everyone's good out there. Share this platform, this program, because I think that it's really, really, really necessary for us to keep our freedom fighters at the forefront, right? Very important. It's very important that we keep those brothers and sisters who have worked on behalf of our people's liberation movement. It's important that we keep their name at the forefront. It's important that we keep our martyrs and our ancestors and our political prisoners. Their job one. It's like nowadays we get caught up in clickism and all types of other nonsense. And the reality is we're all living under the same oppressive regime, and we are going to hell in a handbasket if we don't respond, or excuse me, if we don't begin to build in a better way. Today, I remember 12 years ago, there was a couple major transitions, and I believe it was about a week apart. One was not even a week, about 6 days apart. One was the death of one of our powerful cultural workers, Gil Scott Heron. And 6 days later, before we can even properly mourn our comrade and brother Gil, we learned of the transition of Geronimo Ji-Jaga Pratt. Of course, both of these brothers had a major impact on my growth and many others, and not only from our era, but those who came before us, and certainly those who come after us. Today, we wanted to make sure that we didn't let a day go by without us remembering our ancestors. Um, Yesterday was also the day that Yuri Kochiyama, someone who I learned from and knew and had the opportunity to work with whenever I was on the West Coast. It was the anniversary of her transition. So we remember Yuri, and today we remember Baba G, Geronimo Ji-Jaga Pratt. For folks who are unfamiliar with Geronimo, um, he was one of our most important freedom fighters, not just a high-ranking member of the Black Panther Party, but several other formations. Um, he was a brother who, back in the day, our OGs or our elders would send those brothers and sisters who were considered warriors to the military to learn so that they can bring those skill sets back and work, put them, make them work in the interest of the people. Nowadays, we don't really have to do that because we have so many brothers and sisters who have put in that soldier work and who can, and not even from the US military, but just learning from so many other Africans, um, that we're able to move in a way that we no longer have to go ask others for training. But Baba G, Geronimo Ji-Jaga, uh, he was one of those brothers who was chosen by the community elders to go to the military. And when he went to the military, just so happened that Vietnam War was kicking off, and he ended up doing 2.5 tours in that particular war. And he came back and began to organize. Believe he was a student over at UCLA who was drafted by folks like Bunchy Carter and John Huggins, who are also ancestors. Of course, we remember they were assassinated, um, and we'll talk about that in the future. But he was a brother that put in that work and trained and traveled and organized, so much so that he was framed like so many others of our comrades and OGs. He was framed, and he ended up doing 27 years in prison. We're going to get into all of that and more. What I wanted to do is I wanted to invite family and comrades on today to talk about um, Geronimo G. Jaga. This is a treat, and I hope you all are ready for it. And I hope that you all respect it as much as I do. Um, Again, you're checking out RSTV. This is Black Power Media. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Um, our guest for tonight, or one of our guests, we're waiting for the other, but one of our guests tonight happens to be the nephew of Geronimo G. Jaga. And he is a real solid brother. We've been in contact for years. And, I would say that he's carrying on the legacy and the name of his uncle. And this brother is Brother Kwabena. Uh, yes, Kwabena. I see you on the chat. Yes, it is Kwabena Sakiti Jijaga Rasuli. Welcome to the platform, comrade. How are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm alive on arrival. I'm doing real good now that you're in the building with me. So appreciate you taking time. I know you have a show yourself later on tonight. But I appreciate you taking time, knowing the importance of not only someone who is a personal comrade, but a personal family member to you, someone that you grew up with. For folks who are unaware, and I did my bootleg bastardized version of an intro for Geronimo, but for you and the folks that's checking this out, um, who is Geronimo Ji-Jaga? I say is because his spirit lives on.
At first, it was the uncle, being a child growing up in LA. And when he would come through, we're always excited to see your uncles and aunts when they come through. If they're not like, you're always excited to see them. So he come through. Uncle G is coming. And I barely remember when he like first came to LA. I was very, very young then, but I do remember while he was in the party and his GTO, he would take us for rides in his GTO down 190th Street now, University in the Del Amo area of southern part of LA, city called Carson, just south of Compton. And he would take us for rides there. And I remember again that Uncle G. And as I got a little older, I realized he was in the Black Panther Party and knew of the Black Panther Party. And yes, I'm gonna switch up when I'm a lot older in junior high school. This sister, Carrie Morris, was my brother's classmate, my older brother classmate. And she said, well, my uncle was Bunchy Carter. I'm like, wow. So Bunchy Carter's oldest brother lived in our neighborhood. And also Geronimo's oldest brother, my father, we all lived in this neighborhood called Del Amo in Carson, California. And later on, I became good friends with Kim Morris. She's an ancestor now. She's made transition last year. But Kim would talk about how she remembered when Bunchy, her uncle Bunchy and Geronimo would be at her house out there. So, I mean, that was some serious history. And I'm like, pictures, you know, we want to see some pictures from back then. And I did run across one picture I saw with Kwame Ture, Uncle G, Brother Omar, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but he was the chairman of the Southern California chapter of the Black Panther Party for a while too. And John Huggins, they're all in this picture. And I asked Brother Harold Welton, is that Uncle G right there? Because I saw his stature, and he said, yeah, that's him. I don't know if they're outside of the sports arena or somewhere getting ready for a free Huey rally, but yeah, they were all there. Just a classic photo of them brothers. But yeah, so coming up as a child, again, I knew he was in the Black Panther Party, but I didn't know his role or his significance at that time. I just knew that them brothers and sisters would come by the house a lot, and you know, they were real cool. I like eating a lot, so I would, when they bring stuff from the free breakfast program over to the pad, I can enjoy it. And then also and just how cool they were, the beautiful sisters, you know, with their naturals, and just it was just that atmosphere back then. Again, seeing this as a child, and then reading the newspaper, reading, you know, Emory Douglas. I think he just hit number 80 recently. But the Panther newspaper, I couldn't wait to read the cartoons and start reading the paper. And I'll start reading the articles and looking at the pictures and stuff. So that influence on me, you know, at that time, but that he had.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that I definitely appreciate you sharing that, because oftentimes, you know, we hear the mystical and the mythical, you know what I mean? And it's like we look at our heroes, as we should, you know, in such a high regard and light, that sometimes we forget the human part. You know, it's almost like we deify, you know, our folks, and then when, you know, when they fall for grace in whatever manner, you know, then we're quick to scrutinize and, you know, all of that type of stuff. So I'm definitely happy to have you come on and talk about, you know, Uncle G. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah. So if you don't mind, for folks, you know, again, because you kind of gave us a basic of who he was in your childhood. Folks who are new and they never heard the name Geronimo Ji-Jaga, give us a history of who that man is, you know, and how what transpired and caused him to, you know, not only join the party but get involved in other formations, and, you know, and his contribution to our struggle.
He was born in September 1947 in a place called Morgan City, Louisiana, South Louisiana, near the swamps. A lot of fishing, a lot of hard work. You know, my father, his oldest brother, he has two older sister, Auntie Jenny, who was very much with him during much of his work during that time in the Southern California chapter of the Black Panther Party. Very supportive while he was locked up. So she was his big sister, my Auntie Jacqueline. Those are the only three left. The three oldest are the only three left. So that's where he was born and raised. Excellent athlete, quarterback for the football team at Morgan City Colored High School back then. They called it Sumter Williams. And, you know, as you shared a little bit of it, some of the elders and the veterans in the community, this was a time when we were struggling. Emmett Till, you know, the civil rights movement. And hey, man, going to the military. Him and some other cats from down there went to the military, you know, learn what you're going to learn and come back and use that in service of the people. And so that's what he did. This story I love. I was telling somebody about it yesterday. When they were deployed to Detroit during the riots, during the rebellions, I should say. Back then, they were told to go. Let's go to Detroit, and your platoon or your regiment is going to go out here and try to quell this rebellion that's going on. And then I'm not sure totally how the story goes. I heard different things, but one of the things was they didn't have enough. A lot of the munitions weren't accounted for. So, and Uncle G would say, I'm out here and I'm hearing these helicopters, and I'm seeing what we were doing over in Vietnam to the Viet Cong.
Right.
And I'm like, man, wait a minute. And so next thing you know, I heard you mention he did 2.5 tours of duty, but he was supposed to be back from stateside. I understand then stateside, but they sent him back to Vietnam again. From what we understand is maybe a punishment for them helping out our brothers and sisters in that rebellion in Detroit after that Algiers motel incident, which brought us the dramatics and all that. Well, dramatics were part of that. So yeah, he was like, he was. And so when he finally got out, came with my auntie Melda, and they came out to LA. He got GI Bill going to UCLA and hooked up with Bunchy. And that's why I hope brother Harold can get on, because Harold was right there, with Bunchy, with the Black Panther Party in Southern California, and did a lot of work with the people too, and still a strong brother, strong warrior. So I hope he can get on with his brother.
I hope be good too. I met him in the and for folks who are not familiar, he's talking about Harold Taylor, one of the San Francisco 8. And I had a opportunity to kick it with them here in Atlanta right before when they were producing that film on the San Francisco 8. And rising power to John Bowman, because he was there as well. And then later on, I had the opportunity to speak out at one of the universities in California with brother Ray and brother Hank.
Okay.
So definitely would love to see hopefully brother Harold can get on board with us as well. But you mentioned Bunchy, and when you talk about the Black Panther Party and just Bunchy and Geronimo alone, they're two examples of how the movement grows organic. You talking about Bunchy Carter, a brother who came up out of the streets, you know what I mean? Former leader of the Slaussons, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, and which at the time I believe was the largest street organization in that part of California. And then you have Geronimo, who went to the military, who was sent to the military by the elders, by the OGs, and came back and did just what he was supposed to do, put his skill set, put it out there for the people. It's a sad time because nowadays, unfortunately, a lot of individuals, they think with this individual mentality, and they think that, they're the first black this and the first black that, and they forget that it was the blood of the people who helped to for them to earn their appointment. So I just want to mention that. But I want to ask, so he meets Bunchy. This is at UCLA, and we're talking about, boom, I don't know if he's planning on just, I'm gonna go to UCLA and run into Bunchy Carter, you know what I'm saying, and John Huggins. Right. So what happens next? Because those are two bad brothers by themselves.
He just starts organizing and working with them, helping them out with military tactics, I guess, and weapons and strategies. I guess some of the things they were doing in Vietnam. I know in Vietnam, he was decorated veteran in Vietnam, and he never hid that. Or he embraced that. But he also embraced the fact that, of course, that this was an imperialistic war and what have you too. But yeah, so and just start working with the people in the chapter, and like I said, coming up, even once he I remember reading the paper when he was purged from the party. I was like, purge? I said, Daddy, what does purge mean? And he explained it to me back then. I'm like, wow. I'd been into reading and trying to understand what was going on with all of that. But even before that, like you said, when John Huggins and Bunchy Carter were killed. Matter of fact, I talked to Tim Hayes. Tim Hayes is a brother who helped start the Atlanta Black Panther Party chapter. He also worked with SNCC and AAPRP. He's still fighting against the violence that's going on. Hopefully we can talk about that a little bit too.
Without a doubt.
The fratricidal violence that's going on in Philly right now. Black Panther was with Malcolm, working with Martin, but he shared out him, and I think he said he rode to LA one of the trips that he took. I did talk to Erica Huggins recently, and she said it wasn't their first trip out there, but I think he either rode to LA with John Huggins on one of the cross country trips, and they hooked up. And again, that's where they were encouraged by Brother John and Uncle Geronimo to start that chapter in Atlanta, the Atlanta PPP chapter. But that sort of thing. And I was watching a video recently about the struggle with the Black Panther Party in New Orleans. It was a 50-year anniversary of that struggle in New Orleans.
Design projects and all that shooting out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember way back, I said, you know what? My Uncle Timothy was there, Geronimo's brother that was, close in age to him, who's also an ancestor now. And so I watched the documentary, and boom, there it was. I found it. I found Uncle Tim at a 30-minute mark or something. Like, wow, right on, Uncle Tim. So he's there speaking and what have you. But Geronimo's, influence in going to New Orleans. When my grandfather passed, Jack Pratt, I was talking about my grandfather was in the commodities business, like Fred Sanford. No, he wasn't as silly as Fred, but he was a junk man, and in Louisiana. And so my father would tell me how they would always every time they get everything filled up and ready, they take the trip from Morgan City to New Orleans to sell the scrap.
Right.
And come back with enough money to do what they need to do to sustain the big family that he had. But so when my father left and came out to California, Rasuli, Charles Pratt, Geronimo and my younger uncles, took over, and they started going with my grandfather to Louisiana. And so that's why even when he was locked up, when we would communicate, and even when he got out, as you know, he was really strong on the Angola 3.
Right.
And his brothers and sisters out, who are the brothers who were locked up, Brother King, Brother Woodfox, and Brother Woodfox King, and the other brother's name escapes me right now.
Yeah. Same here. And
just like Marilyn Buck, they let him out right before he was about to die.
Right. You're talking about and I feel bad, but it's so many. We'll get back to them in a second. We're not gonna, but that's
But so just in his work there, and I remember talking to him about the Mississippi shooting of the two brothers at Jackson State, or the people that got killed at Jackson State back then. And I was thinking about AK's book. I was sharing some people about his book today, We Will Shoot Back, because one would think that Mississippi, if you think that Mississippi was a place that just acquiesced and didn't just chill and allowed the oppression to continue. But no, when you read Brother AK's book, you're like, no, several examples of the work that they were doing back then on the street level, on the level with attorneys like Chokwe Lumumba back then, and our other brother. Oh man, anyway, but I cannot think his name.
From where?
Attorney, he was out in California, Chicago. He made transition to Chicago a couple of years ago. He worked real tight with us on this music piece, and he was in Mississippi. He's featured in our AK's book. Another attorney. His name is something gonna come back to me in a second.
Yeah. And you was talking about Herman Wallace.
Attorney Lou Myers.
Right. Lou Myers, and Herman Wallace was from the Angola 3. That's who we was thinking of. Yeah. So it's all good. We getting up there. But
but I travel. I mean, so he was not just in Southern California. He was all over. And a lot of these things I learned later. But I do remember my grandfather made transition, and you got these old photo albums that we don't know where they are now. But my father flew down to Louisiana for the funeral. We're still real young in Cali, and we wanted to go, wasn't able to go, but he came back with the pictures, and Uncle G was there, and they were in formation there, just like I don't think he may have been underground at the time when when my grandfather made transition. So down in Louisiana with, I guess it was RNA members, so he was organizing, like you said earlier, in different formations, not just the BPB, Black Panther Party, but working with others, other groups and organizations that were fighting for our liberation, even the Nation of Islam.
Yeah. No, and it's funny because I always look at him like I look at someone else that doesn't get proper credit, Muhammad Ahmed, Baba Max Stanford.
Yes.
Because he was another one of those brothers who traveled around the country and aided in setting up formations. And I want to point out, because Geronimo wasn't just like you said, when you talk about the Black Panther Party, not just in LA, but I know he was instrumental in setting up the Dallas chapter out in Texas, and as well as other chapters. So this is a brother who was not just a quote unquote uh, muscle. You know what I'm saying? He had the ability to organize and build with the masses of the people and put things in perspective. So I definitely always admired and appreciate that much about him as well.
It was in Dallas where he was captured in I think it was December 1970. He was in Dallas where he was captured after he went underground for a while.
Right. So let's talk about that, because here's this case which took place, I believe, in '68, when they talked about this tennis court murder. If you don't mind, let's talk about this, because we want to know what led him to being targeted. Because for folks to be clear, he served 27 years, but it was he was a straight FBI COINTELPRO target. So let's talk about, how did that come about? What was, you said he was captured. Captured for what? For the naysayers.
Well, he was always in a lot of charges, and they were always trying to get him locked up, because what happened on December 4th, matter of fact, when I met you, it was December 4th, 2000 and something, over at Ground Zero in Chicago.
Right on.
We were honoring Chairman Fred Hampton and Brother Mark Clark, Captain Mark Clark, Defense Captain Mark Clark.
That's been about at least 20 years or so, or close to it, if not, huh?
It's been a while. It was one of them cold December days up there.
Yeah.
But not as cold as December 4th, 1969, when
definitely not that cold.
Yeah, when they did what they did. And man, so a couple of days after that, they went and raided LA. When they raided the headquarters in LA, they were ready. And they fought them off. And I put a picture up on my page recently with my auntie Jenny that I mentioned earlier, Geronimo, and sister Peaches Moore, Samaya. And she's the one who finally came out with the flag. But they fought off the police for hours and hours that day. And that was
the sandbags and everything. That's so don't just, we ain't gonna gloss over that. This is important for folks to know, that military training is what saved their lives. Because what was that? You said it's about 3 days after they vamped on Chairman Fred?
December 8th, and not December 8th till December 9th. I think like it was right here. It's a few days after.
Yeah. So about 4 days or so. Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about that. So they bum rush. This is after they assassinate Chairman Fred and Defense Captain Mark Clark. Shoot up the house and everything in Chicago. It was a coordinated piece. So they went and they attacked LA as well, for folks who don't know the history. And what happens with that? You're saying they're shooting back. What? Let's talk about that.
They fought back. They were ready with their weapons. They were ready, like you said, had fortified the office. They had people on the roof ready to let them know that the pigs were vamping. Letting them know. They got on the phone and called the people so the people would come out. And it was an awesome defense of the headquarters. And, there's criticisms of that later on from, just the fact that it's defending headquarters. And that's what happened later on in the party and the movement, when they more so went underground. But this is what they did. And that, to fight them off, nobody was killed.
Right.
Nobody was killed on that day. And there's footage of that. It's documented in 9 Lives of a Panther by Brother Wayne Farr, who was actually in the building on that day. And like I said, we got Peaches, who was there. And I met some of in Los Angeles. They do a Black Panther breakfast on Sundays. I think the second Sunday of the month. They're starting it up again. And so if you go to it's Simply Wholesome, it's a Black-owned health food spot. So you go there, and it's really cool because you get a chance to talk with some of the elder comrades at that program that they have. And so, so I met some of the brothers there also who were in the shootout. Brother Roland Freeman was there. He was in the building. And so
R.I.P. to him and Ronald. Yes.
Yeah, him and Ronald. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I remember them and Harold Taylor when they'd be by the house. My father, Rasuli, would take us to the trial. Even before that, I think the trial started like 72 or something. I remember going to the trial, but I remember these cats, man, when I saw them, and I guess I'm going back and forth, but they had the 40th anniversary. of the Black Panther Party reunion in Oakland, and I was there. I couldn't believe when I saw Ronald and Roland and Long John. I just hung with them all the time. Remember y'all? Right. You may not remember me, but I was little.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So that shootout, man, was an awesome piece. Uncle G wasn't even in the building; he was at home. They vamped on his place too, and I think he had injuries from Vietnam, so he wasn't sleeping in the bed. He was on the floor, and so I believe they shot up the spot too. But he survived that, and he and all the brothers. Bernard Airfat, I know he's still with us. He may be one of the only few people who are still with us.
Yeah,
but,
No,
yeah. So they were all. They became the LA 18, and 18 of them got locked up. There's a picture with my auntie, Red, Peaches, who's in that picture right now. And I can't think of the other. I don't know who the other sister is. There's a picture with all three of them locked up in handcuffs, being led into the county courthouse or county jail in Los Angeles. Right after that, not too long after that shootout with the police. And that shootout was crazy. But again, it's documented in a couple places, especially one of the good documentations I think of it is again Wayne Farr's book 9 Lives of a Panther. So it's documented there. Yeah.
Now, if I'm not
41st and Central is another documentary that Brother Greg also made Transition Man during COVID, I believe, got him.
Yeah. I was in touch with him, and it's crazy. I didn't even know he had transitioned at the time. I ended up going to his page because I lost his number, and that's how I found out. So definitely, rise in power to him. Again, and also, like we said, Roland and Ronald, who transitioned days apart.
Man, that was crazy. Wasn't that crazy how they?
Man, I mean, yeah, twins, right? Yeah,
not twins. Not twins, but real close in age, from Detroit.
Right. Now, I want to point out too, because we're talking about the shootout. If I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember if it was before or after that they formed SWAT out in LA because of the LA chapter, the Black Panther Party. And I'm trying to remember, was it because of that shootout or that was slightly before then?
No, that was their first mission. SWAT, they deployed SWAT.
That vamping right there was the first SWAT. Okay.
Yes.
It's been a while. Yeah.
And then we grew up in this, I grew up then later on just loving the theme song and watching that TV show.
Not even knowing.
Yeah.
And we remember because but that was like that was one of them early propaganda shows.
Yeah.
They had the truck that was like the UPS truck. You know what I mean? So they would gas you up and make you think that, it was all good. Yes. So that was the actual first mission, the SWAT joint, the formation of SWAT. And now they've been wreaking havoc ever since. And so
they're putting this, so they want him now. They win it. The LA 18 case didn't hold up. While they all looked up, my auntie Red gets killed. They find her dead in a alley or something. And she was with child at the time. So the baby and she's gone. Sandra Red Pratt.
Now they were married for like 8 months, or she was 8 months pregnant or something like that. I'm trying to remember what was
it was about 8 months pregnant.
Okay, and this was Geronimo's wife.
Yes.
Okay.
And then things they had, like I said, they had to split during this time. Uncle G talks about they even had him try to get him on the Tate LaBlanca Charles Manson murders. Yes. And that's interesting note that I don't know if you saw where they're about to release one of the girls who were involved in that in California. She's about to get released from prison. I just saw that recently, and we got Rochelle McGee still.
Right. Now, funny thing about it, if I'm not mistaken, Jalil Munta King was in between Charles Manson and Rochelle when he was locked up out there.
Wow.
They were all in the same block. So that's just kind of that's wild that you're bringing that up. But yeah, no, they actually tried to charge G on that whole Sharon Tate murder, which was another ridiculous case that they couldn't even, they couldn't stick. Matter of fact, I believe that Charles admitted he did it. He don't be giving nobody else no credit for what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like get your own case. But yeah, so that's how crazy that was.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm rocking with you.
No, so they locked him up for that. I don't know. That's why he got arrested, or he got captured in Dallas for that. But they put that case on him. And then, as we know, what COINTELPRO was doing, what the FBI was doing, they had surveillance on the people. They had surveillance at the Black Panther Party meetings in Oakland. You know, Bobby Seale talked about how G was at these meetings, and even I think David Hillier. They all, you know, they talk about it. And then I remember during the split. Again, I remember this as a child during this trial, that Kathleen Cleaver came and she stayed at our house because they'd had to split, and so you know, we were still a little bit out of LA for a little bit, but she was at our house, and you know, the trial happened. You know, we know Cochran was his lawyer. We know they had people in his defense camp. They had a guy named Julio Butler, who got also put out the party, who had lied on him and working with the police, who said on trial that he was not an informant, but records show that he was an informant, and other things, other snafus and things in the case, that finally, after 27 years, you know, Uncle G was released in nearly 27 years in 1997, actually in June. The anniversary of that is coming up in a week.
Now, I want to point out, because Julio Butler, or Julius, whatever his name was, he was not only, Cochran asked him, Johnny Cochran, yes, Johnny Cochran from the whole OJ case for the viewers. As a matter of fact, Johnny Cochran said this was the most important case that he ever, you know, of his life, of his career. I want to point that out, talking about Geronimo's case. He asked Julius Butler several times if he was an informant for the FBI. And he said no. He said he never worked for the FBI, when in fact he was an informant not only for the FBI, but for the LAPD and the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office as well. So they were in concert. They were in collusion. They were down with the same program to knock Geronimo off the box. And you know, they did. They ended up framing him for 27 years, and the fight continued. So I want to ask for folks who are checking us out, like, after 27 years, because he got locked up, I believe he was still in his 20s, if I'm not mistaken, and you know, served damn near 30 years. What was that like for the family, number one, and number two, how did he you know, how did that case get turned around?
It was, as you know, it was tough on the family, and very tough on the family. I'm sure tough on him, but you know, Geronimo shared, and the brothers and sisters in the party shared. They knew they were not. They knew that this was going to end up, either you may take your life, you may get locked up in prison. They knew these are the chances of taking the step to be revolutionaries during this time, fighting against this vicious system. So at the time, as I got older myself, you know, when I would write or visit sometime, I'd be going to see him, and I would think like, wow, Uncle G might not ever get out. Then as I got older and started hearing about other things and studying stuff, I said, yeah, I would tell him, I'm sure I was already doing it, man, visualize yourself out in Morgan City fishing or doing whatever. And so that sort of thing. But we moved from California to Louisiana back in the late 70s. And I remember my grandmother she was, of course, that's her youngest son. And so she really was struggling with the fact that he was locked up and possibly never be out again. And I had a collage, like right behind me on my wall. I put a collage up in my room when I was in LA with, it was cool. I mean, we just lost Jim Brown. Jim Brown was up there, Kareem, Wilt, these sports figures, but I also had Kwame Ture, H-Rap Brown, these Bobby Seale and Huey. And I had it was like a cool black, and also, of course, had the sisters up there too, Pam Grier and all them. So it was like just a cool collage.
I was gonna say Pam Grier. Look at you, man.
Man, you know. But yeah, so we had all of them up there, and I took it down. I was like, wow, we moving to Louisiana. I'm gonna keep this collage. And so I got ready to put the collage up in Louisiana. My grandmother saw it, and she just like, she wasn't having it. So she actually, I don't know what happened to those pictures, but you know, was dealing with the hurt and the struggle that she was dealing with from her son, you know, who thought she would never see outside of the walls again. And this is a sacrifice that, again, not just Uncle G and so many other political prisoners, like we said, make. People, warriors who fight for us make. And I heard Brother Deruba talk about it and others talk about it. That's why it's so important that we struggle for them, that we work and demand that they get free, and that we do what we can to help them get free. because if our youth, if our people see now that we're not going to be on the side or supporting people who sacrifice for us, I ain't gonna do, man. They don't care what they're gonna do if you get locked up. They ain't gonna fight for you. You know?
Cancel that. You already know. You already
Yeah,
know. We don't stand a chance. I mean,
yeah.
you mentioned folks like Michelle who was locked up. Man, before Geronimo is still locked up. Geronimo was locked up, released, made his transition, and Rochelle's still locked up. You know what I mean? So that's how real that is. You know, and the same with Daruba. Um, because I think that and I remember for myself before Geronimo ever got out, him and folks like Daruba, these were uh veteran, OGs that I studied. You know what I mean? So to see him come out, I remember plain as day when Geronimo came out. It was just like, wow, like you said, I didn't many of these brothers and sisters we never thought would come out. And it's not that we didn't have faith, but we understand the system that devours um folks who resist it. You know what I mean? It is a brutal beast, and it will chew you up, and it won't spit you out. It will swallow you
Mm, wow.
whole.
Yes.
It swallow you whole. And folks don't. The important thing that you said, you talked about your grandmother. You know, we don't look at a lot of times we talk about freeing political prisoners, and we talk about brothers and sisters who are locked up and so on and so forth. We don't think about the impact that it has on the family because you're going to a trial or to a hearing or whatever the case is, and you know that your loved one may not come home. And then they get hit with these outrageous sentences. I just left some people in Houston seeing family members crying because, of folks who are on death row right now. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
put expiration dates. I'm talking about with cases, as you know, just from years of practice, you already know that there's so many brothers and sisters who have been charged and sentenced to death row, many of them executed with no scientific, physical, or no type of evidence at all. And so we're looking at someone like Geronimo, and we're grateful that he had lawyers like not only Johnny Cochran but Stuart Hanlon and others. You know what I mean? Who fought to see him released.
Stuart Hanlon, like you said, he stayed on the case, and we mentioned Lou Myers earlier, Chokwe Lumumba,
Yes,
who worked with him,
yes,
and others. So yeah, it was very important, and for those who helped us out on this defense committee for so long, my sister helped out a lot. Like I said, my auntie Jenny was there all the time. My cousin Brian was there with him supporting. Bam, and just so many people in the family who was there supporting. And we go visit as much as we could and would write. And it's a trip that Uncle G would send. Asked me to send him some Kwanzaa cards one year. I was like, Kwanzaa cards. Yeah, and he would send out, not he would send them out to people,
right.
Kwanzaa cards. And that's the principles. He dealt with the principles. He dealt with the principles and concepts, and not the personalities so much. Uncle G was a sharp brother. Like I said, he was a valedictorian of his school, football. And when we go visit him, man, you couldn't mess with him playing no Scrabble or no chess or nothing. It was funny because my father, also they get to playing and get to arguing and going at a little bit, but I don't know. That ain't no word,
They arguing up in the prison.
Yeah, huh?
Arguing in the prison.
Yeah, I mean, not middle school about the words.
Right,
They would be trying to play Scrabble.
right.
Yeah, I mean, and they're watching them and what have you. But
That's family. That's family. I want to slide in this quick fun fact for the viewers. You also have a cousin who's an actress. Correct?
Yes, my niece.
Yes.
My niece.
Yes, niece, and that is
Kyla Pratt.
Yeah. So I had it's funny. I saw her post something about your uncle some years ago, and a lot of folks were surprised because of course when you talk about family, you don't always put words together or people together. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always variety and range when it comes to family.
There's a beautiful picture with them together. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's a beautiful picture with Kyla and Uncle G. I love that picture.
I haven't seen that. Would love to check it out, man. That's heavy.
But
That's
you're
dope.
right. Like the brother who just died, the actor, and I'm like, they say he's from Oklahoma or somewhere around there, and I'll see a post from Michael Beasley, the basketball player. That was his grandfather. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, Beasley, of course. So yeah, you're right. So it's that.
Yeah.
Those connections are here. And one of the things you said earlier, and I live in Gary, Indiana, this struggling city of Gary, Indiana, and we got what is known as the world's greatest entertainment family here, the world's greatest entertainer, Michael. Whether I know we were dealing with Riot Starter and that issue, but we just did.
We all good. We rock with Mike.
Okay, all right, hold on.
And I believe that the Barges are from there too, as well, right? Or no?
No, the Barges are from Grand Rapids, I think.
Okay.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay. I was giving y'all everybody. Go ahead.
No, we'll take Mike and Niecy Williams, Jesse Powell, and then William Marshall. We got quite a few over here too. But matter of fact, we pay a tribute to Denise Williams finally out here tomorrow, so that should be a good piece. But so I'm also part of this group called Jackson Family Honors, and we're trying to build up, this city's hopefully got some infrastructure to do that. But we had a piece on last week. It was Reby and Latoya's birthday the same day, so we did a little piece for them. And Reby is talking about stuff they were doing when they were a child, and Mike, how crazy fun Mike was. And I'm like, it's the same thing you said. They just people.
Right.
All these people are people, and by circumstance and what have you, Uncle G hooked up with Bunchy. It wasn't totally by circumstance, because this is what the brothers told him to do. Right. This is what that Garveyite influence that he had. Oh, Harold's calling me now. That Garveyite influence from down in Louisiana that his uncle, my Uncle Percy, and all them had, all that's connected. So,
right I can take you off for a second if you want. Tell Harold to come on and stop playing.
Okay, all right. Hey, brother.
You're checking out RSTV. This is our good brother Kwabena, who's the nephew of Geronimo Ji-Jaga, and we're kicking it about all things Geronimo Pratt, and I appreciate you all checking us out. Shout out to our brother Baba Keedy. I see you out there in the audience. We got to get you on here as well real soon. Definitely appreciate you, one of the pioneers when you talk about internet radio, and health as a whole. Definitely shout out to you and your work out there. Honored to have you on board. For folks who are, if it's your first time tapping in, make sure you subscribe to Black Power Media. We have a whole lot coming up in the near future. Next week, I have, we'll be talking about the murder of brother out here, Jamarian Robinson, who was shot 76 times by police a few years ago. They're in court right now. 2 of the police were charged. It was 14 cops who vamped on this house from 8 different agencies here in East Point, Georgia. And they murdered this man. They shot 110 shots into the house. They claimed he was shooting back, but of course we have video footage saying otherwise. We had the opportunity about 6 days after his murder to do a walkthrough the home. Myself and a number of different attorneys and journalists, we went through the home just like the whole situation with Chairman Fred. In fact, I have some footage that I plan on playing right out here on the platform. So never before seen footage where you can see the number of bullet holes and blood stains where they shot this young man up. He was 5'6" and 150 pounds. They drug him down the steps, and you can see the blood stains and where they dropped him off like he was a slab of beef or something. So 2 of his children, 2 of the police officers right now, I said children, are actually going through they'll be going through trial in October. But right now there's a hearing going on here in Atlanta where one of these deputy U.S. Marshals and one of the cops from Clayton County, Georgia, they're trying to get immunity. So we're going to be working to stop that situation. So, make sure you stay tuned to Black Power Media. We'll have that particular situation coming up on RSTV on the 7th, June 7th, I believe is next Wednesday. Also next Tuesday on the Remix Morning Show, I will have as a guest the attorney for a young man who was literally eaten alive here in Atlanta in one of the jail cells by bed bugs. So we would have his attorney come on and talk about what went on in that particular case. We have a number of different things coming up, like I stated. Shout out to all the good people that continue to support our work. And my brother Balagoon, I see you in the chat as well. I owe you a phone call. We'll be getting at you real soon. And we're gonna keep it moving. This is what it's all about. We'll bring Brother Kwabena back on in a few seconds, and hopefully we'll have Harold Taylor, which was one of the San Francisco Eight. San Francisco Eight has a serious story as well for folks who aren't familiar. They were a group of individuals who were locked up and tortured. We're talking about cattle prods on their testicles and on their anus and all types of waterboarding and sleep deprivation. They put typewriters over their head and put their feet in water and ice and was using electric shock. This is right here in the US. 30 years later, these same brothers were rounded up by the same pigs that tortured them and brought back in. So Harold Taylor, who is one of the members of the LA chapter of the Black Panther Party and a comrade of Geronimo Pratt, hopefully we'll have him on momentarily as well. Anyway, you're checking out RSTV. We appreciate your work. Please share what it is we're doing. And we'll keep you in the loop. I see my brother Kwabena look like he's still trying to help the brother in the background. How we doing, bro?
I think we may be doing good. So I just texting the link. So he's on. He said he heard you singing to him.
Okay, right on.
Oh.
Cool in the game.
So hopefully he'll be in with us in a minute. And you mentioned the case of the San Francisco 8 case that they brought back up again. Just ridiculous. I'm glad they all got out, but I offer that. But there's so many stories, so many great stories. I got this book from Don Cox. That's a powerful book. I mentioned the book by Wayne Farr. There's a book. There's so many books and stories. I've read Soul on Ice a couple times, and it's just so much good information about these brothers and these sisters and their struggle for our freedom and our liberation. And as we know, they weren't playing. And so right. I'm going to mention this now too, and hopefully I mentioned it before we leave. So we were able to get a hold of 5. You got it? You getting in? You see? Oh, he sees himself, so he must be close.
Okay. Well, tell him all we have to do is see, now. If we can see him, we're going to be good.
He said, "Now, he said if you could." I don't know if you heard him, but yeah.
But that's cool in the game. We here waiting for him. We got time.
Okay. Okay. So what I was saying was that we were able to, we struggle with this issue with this music, and we talk about the sacrifice. Harold hopefully will get on and tell us more about sacrifice and some of the stories with him and Uncle G, things that they struggled and went through, and others. Right. But they did not do this. Rochelle's not still locked up. Mumia's not still locked up. Brother Bowers is not still locked up. Kamu Siddiqui, the brother in Omaha, in Nebraska, man, for us to get freedom to do what we've been doing to each other via this mass media and this music right now.
Right.
And so we got Sister Charlotte O'Neill, Sister Wanda Ross from the Chicago chapter, Brother David Lemieux, Brother Victor Houston, and Brother Harold Welton, all on point, all ready to be with us on this coming Sunday with CMOTAP, which is a committee to eliminate media offensive to African people, to deal with this murder music, to talk about this murder music. And so that should be a powerful piece. And this is Black Music Month. Every June is Black Music Month since 1979. I think that's the same year that Black August was started. Wasn't it about 79?
Yep, you're correct.
And so, but the thing for Black Music Month, we've been making themes for years, and I was like last minute thinking about a theme that wouldn't play, and I finally looked it up. There's already a theme, and we love it. The theme is called Black Resistance.
Right on.
That's the theme for this Black Music Month, and so that's what we're doing this Sunday. We're talking about it. We went inviting everybody to come on. It's a live Zoom feed. It's on CMOTAP. Get more information about it, and come hear these brothers and sisters these Black Panthers veterans deal with this issue. They, a lot of them are artists, and they know what it is in terms of, what they're doing to us in this music.
No doubt. Well, we definitely gonna post it and let folks know as well. Tell Harold we see him. We just need him to turn his camera on now. We saw him with the camera on. It looks like he turned it back off or something.
Well,
Tell him we saw him with his cool hat and everything. We just waiting for him to come on.
You said turn your camera on. I think there's probably a button on your phone where it says activate your camera or something.
Tell him, if he don't feel comfortable on the camera, let us know.
He said, he said if you don't feel comfortable on the camera, but he should. I just saw him last month. I looked at Brother Blood's memorial.
Okay, tell him no front on us now. Then he can't go to New York and. Okay, I see him. Tell him I'm bringing him on right now. Tell him
right now, right? I'm gonna get off with you, brother. I think you're good. Okay. Well, I don't know if you want to hang it up. You might hang up. No, you better than that. You want to hang up everything. But yeah, he got you though. Oh yeah, I see you.
Okay, we see part of him. Let me get rid of this thing right here. What's going on, Brother Harold? Look like you muted though. You got to unmute yourself.
You got go back to you got to unmute your phone. You also got to unmute your phone too, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me you hit that unmute button. Okay, hit it one more time.
One more time. There you go. And then go back again. Just do it real quick again.
Tell him stop double tapping. Just hit it one time.
There we go. It goes off. I mean, then it comes back on again. I don't know what it's doing, brother. It's going off and coming back on again. We can't hear you. Yeah. So keep messing with it and just I don't know.
Okay, Brother Harold's on mute. If he
it goes off and comes back on. Any iPhone users in your chat can tell you what to do. I think. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what I'm gonna do is I'll take you out of camera so you can get that in order, and but we're gonna keep you right here. We just need to take the mute off. Once you get the mute off, we good.
Yeah. It was off. He had it off for a second.
No, he's back on again. Okay, yeah.
Whatever you're doing, it takes it off and then it goes right back to it.
So we here live and direct. We got Brother Harold Taylor, Brother Kwabena. Brother Harold's still on mute. I don't know what he's doing over there, but it's all good. He gonna make it happen. We see him. He about like me with this technology, so don't even worry about it. Some reason they keep going on and off.
And like I said, I remember that brother from when I was shorty at the house with my father and my uncle, and one of the LA chapter members and my father were real tight, and my Uncle Jack. And while they were doing their thing, man, and he shared with me some stories yesterday. We got to hear.
We just lost him. Tell me you can try to get back on once again.
Yeah, you got off. You came off totally, Brother Harold.
Yeah, just tell him log back in. I'm sure it'll get back on. Anyway, for the viewers out here, don't trip.
Back in.
Yeah, we all good. We have tech difficulties sometimes. This is real live stuff. We don't have any technicians or any of that type stuff. But with your support, we can. One of the things that I would like to do is bring on hold on, I think we got the brother. Hit that button one more time, Brother Harold. I saw it. It looked like it was clear. It's gone one more time. Tell them don't touch that button again. But anyway, I would like to make sure that this platform and my program in particular is available for folks who have hearing issues, hearing impaired. I'm looking to bring on some folks who can interpret, and also interested in bringing on folks who can assist in multiple languages. We would like our platform to be bilingual because we know that there are Africans, you know, across the board, across the diaspora that, you know, check us out, and we want to make sure that everything that's being that we're dropping is nice and clear. Anyway, you're checking out RSTV. We're here with brother Kwabena, Rasuli, and we're also waiting for our good brother Harold Taylor so that they could drop some science on what's going on and what's in his history with the LA chapter of the Black Panther Party. If you all have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. You know, that'd be cool in the gang. Definitely share what it is we're doing. You may have noticed I haven't been on the platform as much as of late. You know, been on the road and working on other projects that we feel is mandatory. I'm an organizer first. So, you know, this other thing right here, doing the, you know, interviews and all that, that's part of the organizing piece, you know. So definitely stick with us. Looks like Kwabena and Brother Harold's here. Get Brother Harold off this mute real quick. I got faith in you, Brother Harold. We got hit that mute button and we doing business. It keep coming and going. I don't know what the deal is with that. There it is. And Kwabena, you muted now as well. So I don't know it.
I can hear you. Can you talk now, Brother Harold? See if they can hear you.
Can everybody hear?
Okay, we hear you through Kwabena's phone. That's what it is. So
is it too much for that?
Yeah, I hear you guys very well.
Okay. So Kwabena, I don't know if because we're hearing them through your phone, Kwabena, right now. So it's just the I guess all it is, for some reason, your mute button is still on, but if you want to turn your phone up, Kwabena, then perhaps we can hear him through there.
Okay, that's what I was trying to do. So I have it all the way up. Brother Harold, speak loud, man, and maybe they could be all right. And even on your picture, I think that sun is there too. We can kind of, okay, now it's not, but speak loud for us, brother.
Hey, how about it, man? Can you guys hear me now?
Hey, man, you sound a lot better than being muted. How about that?
Okay.
How you feeling?
Strong too, brother.
Hey, man, glad to have you on deck, man. How you been?
And I'm still alive. Today is better than yesterday. I'll say that.
Hey, man. Hey, look here, man. You know, you today definitely better than yesterday. So that's all the way live, man. We met some years ago out here in Atlanta. You all were doing a private screening for the film, the documentary you all were doing. This was when Baba John Bowman was still alive as well. I don't know if you remember that. And I believe it was at Kathleen's house or somewhere downtown. I think it was two different occasions.
I think it was at the library.
Yes, that too. So yeah. So definitely, you know, appreciate you coming on, joining us. Hopefully we could bring you back on as well. I want to, you know, of course, we talking about Geronimo today. Today's 12 years since his transition. So if you don't mind, I know that you were instrumental in the LA chapter. Can you talk about how you all first met and give us a little bit of background on the LA chapter of the party, and also who Geronimo was to you?
Okay. Excuse me. I joined the party, man, in '67 when Bunchy first got out of prison. When he came from up north, up from Oakland, after him and Eldridge had a meeting up there with Huey Newton and Bobby Seals, and they talked about opening a chapter here in Los Angeles. And I lived on 84th and Broadway, which was one of the first sections in LA out of the LA chapter. It was section 1A, which was a section that Ronald Freeman and Roland Freeman opened up that I first met them back in '67. And Bunchy at the time was recruiting people into the party. And they were all in this office they called the Black Congress back in 1967, at the end of '67, going into '68, for all the different organizations in the black community all had an office that called it the Black Congress. They called that building. Even at that time, that organization was in that building too. I think I was about 18, maybe 19 years old at the time, man. Just a youngster. I just finished high school in '56. I'm straight out of high school. Right after Malcolm X got killed in '65, and the Watch Riots happened in August of '65. I ended up going to a juvenile camp and spending just about, I got about 66. That's when I started looking for the Panther Party. First heard of it. I watched a demonstration in Sacramento when they marched on the Capitol. I was sold, man. I wanted to work in the party. I wanted to find out about. That was my introduction into the Panther Party.
Right on.
I was telling somebody that yesterday, Brother Harold, about, they were asking me about, the history. I said when they went to the state capitol, and that was broadcast not just statewide but nationwide, that inspired a lot of young brothers.
There was a lot of people, man. The party grew overnight. I mean, when Huey went to jail, man, I think it was something about 35, maybe 35 Panthers at the time, So the Black Panther Party grew real fast when Huey went to jail because Bobby Seals and Eldridge Cleaver, Emory Douglas, Kathleen Cleaver, they began to build the party by spreading the 10-point program and the rules of the party, how we wanted to get Huey P. Newton out of jail, and why we needed to get Huey out of jail. It became a cry for free Huey, and that united people across the country. A lot of people started inquiring about the party. And that's where I met Geronimo around 1968, the end of '68. I think Geronimo had just come from the military, and he had a red GTO, they called it GO. It was a convertible. I met him through Bunchy. We just opened the office on 84th and Broadway, which was down the street from my house, and I opened that office. I was a subsection leader around there, and it was my job to recruit new members in the party and to organize that particular area and knock on doors and find out what the people needed in the community, what they wanted to see fit done in the community, what made them feel safe, and what things they would like to see. And we just wrote it all down. Came back. We were youngsters, man. We were too young to be afraid of anything. So we come together and people were talking about and we start implementing programs and enhance the community because we want to win the hearts of my community because we wanted the community support. But when we started patrolling the police and confronting the police and letting them know that we were there and we recognized violating constitutional rights, it was our job not to run, but stand and to make sure that they stood up and make sure those rights were applied and that people were either arrested or released. And if they were arrested, we would follow them to the jail. And we try to bail them out if we could. And things grew after that. After that, I went from a subsection leader to a section leader, and from a section leader to a field secretary. I worked with Ronald Freeman, and we organized different chapters and branches in Southern California. And we had, back in those days, we had the largest amount of Panthers in the country because other than New York City. But we had quite a few Panthers, and Panthers was leaving from Los Angeles, different chapters organized across the country. And the Bunchy and the field marshal, Donald Cox, they implementing that program. And they were selecting out certain people that knew the work. And it just so happened that I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, man. Work.
That's right on. That's I mean, for folks who one of the things that stuck out, what you just said, you said you were too young to be afraid. And that's.
Or you broke up a little bit.
Say it again.
Say what you just said again.
No, I said one of the things you said when you said that stuck out, you said you were too young to be afraid. Right? Too young to be scared. Right?
You know, Bunchy had said, man. Bunchy used to say, I don't like using that N-word anymore, but he used to say, niggas quit trembling and get mad. That was a challenge. He always had a little stand that challenged your manhood, you know. Even in his poetry, you know, you do something, nigga, you only speak, you know. There was something about it. I'd rather be dead, shit like that. Flavor of natural death who dies, Alice after death at two. Not the shame, a bullet lies within my brain. Who talks like that? Apprentice Bunchy Carter. He was a cat, man. He was a cat's cat.
So Bunchy was like the H-Rap Brown of over there with the rhyme, huh?
Yeah, it was easy to get lost into Bunchy's charisma, but at the same time, what I loved and admired about Bunchy Carter more than anything else, he never asked anybody to do shit that he wouldn't do himself. He led by example. He was a true leader in that respect. And I thank him for it every day because he taught me how to seize my balls from a lion's jaw and be a man.
Yeah,
I pay homage to those brothers, man. Because it was like so many of us in the LA chapter that became Bunchy's personal, not only comrades, but friends, but we became part of his wolf pack, which was special arm, which was designated to make sure that we had an underground that was going to protect the above ground people, the workers, the foot soldiers.
He said the wolf pack, huh, Brother Harold? The wolf pack
was always about the rank and file. We all learned about the rank and file early in the days of the party. That all armies move on their feet, and if you didn't have good foot soldiers, you had no army. And Bunch always stressed those things.
And you said the wolf pack.
It was easy to listen to him. It was easy to learn. He spoke, man, in simplicity, man. Everything was very like Malcolm X. The way he articulated things, the way he broke that. His analogies were just on point, and anybody could understand what he was talking about. He painted a vivid picture. I learned those things from him being a teacher, by being a good student. That way you can be a good teacher. That's what I learned. The LA chapter, I understand Harold Weldon. You guys probably met that brother. That's a great brother, man. Harold Weldon is some kind of special guy to me.
Yes, indeed.
I never met Harold before I met him at Bunchy's little brother's funeral, but I knew of him because he worked on my case in 1971 when the police tried to execute me with John Bowman and Ray Boudreaux. When they shot us up in a car and shot me 6 times, shot Ray 5 times, shot JB in the back. But we all walked away and survived. And it was people like Harold Weldon, the foot soldiers, that got out there and knocked on those doors and found people that witnessed and cried out to the police to stop shooting because they thought we were all dead in the car. But we got the community hollering at the police. And they shot in the car with 250 times.
Dang.
And if it wasn't for the community, they would have killed us. They dragged us out and beat us. That happened at 9 o'clock at night. We didn't get to the hospital until 12:30 that night, 11:30, something to that effect. 2 hours we rode around a lot in an ambulance with no siren. They was hoping we would bleed out. But out of all those people in the party back then, it was Harold Weldon that told me that I'm one of the last of the originals that joined the party in 1967. I haven't seen anybody that I remember that joined the party with me. They're all gone. So
let me ask. I'm sorry, good.
LA chapter is something very special to me. But I did get the opportunity to meet some great soldiers. I got the opportunity to shake the hand of Fred Hampton. I got the opportunity to meet Donald Cox. I got the opportunity to serve with my comrades, to serve with people like Herman Bell, Jaleel Montekeith, just great comrades, Ray Boudreaux, John Henry Bowman, Richard Brown, Richard O'Neill, just great people. I got a chance to meet Tay. I got a chance to speak of people like Batulu, Daruba, all great soldiers, man. Great comrades. And I just love this. I love what you people are bringing to the table. And it makes me proud to know that y'all want to serve the people. But you got to always remember that the people come first. And you got to have an undying love for the people. And you got to be sensitive to the needs of the people. And I'll leave it at that. I get kind of carried away sometimes.
Man,
I'm from cabin fever. I've been in the house for the last 6 months. I've been having problems with my feet. I'm a diabetic. I've lost a toe on each foot. I was in the process of losing my big toe. I was telling young Rasuli earlier. I was in the process of almost losing my foot, but I did the appropriate thing and took the medication I need to take, preserving my foot. I'm in recovery. I'm going to be able to travel a little bit. And tomorrow I'm going to go more to memorialize Paul Red, soldier that was in a 41st and Central shootout back in 1969. I'm going to go put his ashes into the Pacific tomorrow. And I'm going to go pay homage to my comrade, my brother, and my friend. I recruited him into the Black Panther Party. He's a good man. Okay, brothers, ain't nobody said nothing.
Hey, man. Nah, we just, I think that if I can speak for young Rasuli, as you said, you know, I think that for us, it's more than an interview. It's sitting at the feet of, you know what I mean? And I appreciate, you know, that history on LA, because I think that there was so many different chapters of the party, and oftentimes you only hear about a few. So you know, we definitely appreciate that. But I want to ask you, because while you're here, you know, if you can explain the case of the San Francisco 8 and how that came about, because that's some serious history that many folks aren't familiar with. And you mentioned, you know, being shot up in the car and everything with, you know, John Bowman, rest in peace to him, rise in power to him. And I forgot who else you said. Forgive me.
Me and Ray. I talked to him today. We got to talk. We talk. All of us talk. We always talk, man.
Man, right on.
We leave a line of communication, no matter what petty differences we've had in the past or we continue to have. We put that shit aside, man, and we have to do what matters.
Right on.
That's what we got to do now. You know, young people. I'm not telling anybody what to do. I just say I can suggest and I can explain, but I won't tell you to do a goddamn thing. I won't tell you to do anything or ask you to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. But that work has to be done in order to serve the people. But number one, in order to serve the people, you've got to have that undying love for the people, because it makes the sacrifice that much easier. And it makes it a lot easier because, you know, you're there and you're suffering for a purpose. You're not just there suffering because you hurt your brother or you hurt your mother or you hurt your sister. You know, you're there because you serve the people.
Wow.
That's a sacrifice that you got to be willing to make.
Right on. Right on. If you, like I said, if you could touch on the San Francisco 8, because again, there's folks who aren't familiar with that particular case. And
I'm going to give you something. This all stems from, it stems from Jonathan Jackson. No, it doesn't. It stems from the first black man that they took and chained him up, and that black woman, and brought him to this country. Resistance was always on that black man's mind. And that gene was passed on to many of us. They say in the Bible, Frantz Fanon says it also, many were called, but few were chosen. And that few that were chosen carried the gene. And that gene continued throughout all of us. But to get to the point on the San Francisco 8, I wanted to give you that on the foundation. Basically, I'm saying that's where the Black Liberation Army came from. That first black man they stole, and that black woman. So there's always been a Black Liberation Army here. And I just happened to be a part of it because when I was in the Black Panther Party, I took everything literally to the point on the 10-point program and the rules of the party. And it also is quoted in there that you could join no other organization but the Black Liberation Army. So Black Panther Party was a stepping stone. And once it petered out, I took it to the next level. The next level was the Black Liberation Army. And we all were accused of different things in this struggle. I was arrested in Los Angeles because at the time, your father, Rasuli, gave me a message from your Uncle G. He was in jail. He knew I was underground and I'd made contact. I'd come above ground. And he said that G wanted to give me something special and I can have it. And so I said, cool, what is it? He told me it was a nice package. It was what we needed, weapons and stuff. We were underground. So told me where to pick it up. So I didn't pick it up. I called back and made arrangements for somebody else to go talk to G and make sure this is a sure thing because I didn't know these people. G said, as far as he knew, he was pretty sure that the guy was solid. That was the message that came back to me. I didn't know that this guy was an FBI informant. So he told me to meet him at a certain place, certain time at 9 o'clock. I told him, all right. 51st and 50-something in Hooper, in that area. And I went over there. I was going by myself. Ray asked, could he go with me? And JP said, well, I want to go too. So we went. When we got over there, knocked on the door. So a lady comes to the door. I asked for the guy that was supposed to meet. She said, you don't live here. So I looked around. I seen the headlights come on down the street. I thought it was people from the US organization because at that time, we were warring with them, but I wasn't a part of that war. I'd left that. I didn't sign up to kill black people. I signed up to serve the people. So we was getting ready to leave. Another car lights came on. It followed us. They were plain clothes, plain cars. I didn't know. It was SWAT teams. We got down the street. A black and white came out of nowhere, got behind us. I kept looking in the side view mirror. I could see a line of cars all of a sudden behind us. I tell Ray, don't pull over in that particular area because they had the lights on us. I tell them to make sure we pull over where there's lights so that people could see what happened. We had guns on us, but we always had guns back then because people were killing members of the Black Panther Party. Robert Weber got killed. Fred Bennett disappeared. Franco Diggs was dead. You know, Butch and John, all this other stuff going on. John Savage, Sylvester Bell. So yeah, we all had guns. But this was a SWAT team. Police get out, we pull over. Police come up to my window, keep hollering at me. I put my hands on the front seat. I'm sitting in the rear, passenger side. I don't know if some just said, move your head, some bitch gonna shoot. No sooner I moved my head, big flash came across my face. So I grabbed my gun and I started shooting back. Next thing I know is just shooting everywhere. So we go to jail, we all shot up, get these lawyers together, we fight for about 10 months to get the bill reduced to $25,000 a piece. That was in 1972. When the bill got to $25,000 a piece, our bail was paid $25,000 a piece, cash. So they let us out. They tried to follow us. We ditched them. Immediately went back underground. Immediately went to doing underground work, whatever was necessary. Moved out of the state of California, making our moves. JB was in New Orleans. He called me, asked me to come over. He wanted me to help him with some stuff. I went over there. I didn't know they'd captured Reuben Scott. I wasn't there a week. I just got there. I walked into a trap. They thought I was Herman Bell when I walked up. It was the FBI, U.S. Marshals, New Orleans Police Department, New York Police Department, Los Angeles Police Department. Seemed like they had every damn police department in the country there. Hauled us off to the station. Immediately start beating us. Immediately, as soon as they got us in there. Threw me in a holding tank. Reuben Scott was balled up in the corner in a fetus position. He had a broken arm. He was bleeding. He urinated all on himself. Feces all down his leg. He was shaking. They'd been beating on him, torturing him for about a couple of days. They put me in there so I could see that and let me stay in there for a few minutes. I was trying to talk to Reuben, but he wouldn't talk to me. He was like, he was in shock. So they took me out, told me that's what I'm going to be like when they get through with me. They start beating me, put a plastic bag over my head, tied me to a chair, almost suffocating that plastic bag. They snatch it off, spit on me, spit in my face, beat me all damn night. Took off all my clothes, tied me up to the chair, put the blanket over my head, poured hot ass damn water over it. And they beat me some more and all that shit. And then they came with the cattle prong, sticking me all around my nuts, under my armpits, bottom of my feet. Beat me with a slapjack on my damn knees and on my shins. Shit, I screamed and hollered all night. Yeah. And they started trying to talk to me. FBI came in there. I told them, I don't know shit. Don't want to talk to nobody. I told the FBI, you supposed to be working for the government. You're supposed to stop this shit. You know what's going on. They said, we're not touching you. We don't see nothing. We don't know nothing. They left out. Come back with the goons from New York and New Orleans. They come back in and beat. That's what happened in New Orleans. And then they took us to court. And they told us not to talk, so we got to court. They put us on the elevator all the way down. We had to carry Reuben because he had a broken arm and he limped real bad. So me and JB carried Reuben with chains on us. We went from the city jail to parish prison. Parish prison was a notorious prison in New Orleans. It was old slave docks where they stole slaves from. It was really ironic that we were put in the same places that our ancestors were put. And, they took us to court, and I told the judge what they were doing. And they were trying to make me make statements and all that shit. I told them everything, what they were doing to us. The judge, magistrate, he ordered them not to question me no more, not to say nothing without my lawyer present. Part of the lawyer ordered them that. They would remand me into the custody of the parish prison sheriff. But the New York police and San Francisco police talked the judge out of it. Said we were a security risk. They were afraid that somebody's going to come break us out. They was afraid of the Black Liberation Army. This is the same year that Mark X's that got on top of that building. Howard Johnson was shot up. She killed about 6 or 7 pigs. They called us a part of that tip. And at the same time, Richard Nixon was in town. And they claimed we come to assassinate him. They were trying to just book us on all kinds of charges and about 6 or 7 bank robberies. So we stayed there. And they wanted us to extradite us back to California. Me and JB decided we wasn't going to waive extradition. We wasn't going to sign extradition because we didn't want to leave Reuben there by himself. And we wanted to testify for Reuben when he had to go to court for his bank robbery so we could testify to the torture that made him confess to the bank robbery. So they kicked that bank robbery out on Reuben so they can take us and extradite us back to California. So they brought me back to California. And stayed there for another year. And the strategy we had to get out of jail was, since they accused me of being the shooter, I would go first. We would get a severance. And if they tried me and couldn't convict me on the shooter as initiating the shooting, they had no case. Everybody else go home. But they didn't convict me. I got found not guilty of all 6 charges. I think I had about 12 charges altogether, except the police. They found me not guilty. But they had an old gun charge on me in San Diego. But my lawyer had got wind of that long before they thought she did. And she filed for a speedy trial. And they didn't give me a speedy trial. So when they took me to San Diego, after I got found not guilty, took me to San Diego, they chained me up, kept me down there for a day. When I went to court, the judge, I had a lawyer to come there, and he spoke in my behalf. And he said I required a speedy trial in San Diego. District Attorney's office didn't bring me to San Diego when I asked for my speedy trial, state of California. Back then, they had 65 days if you demanded a speedy trial, and they didn't give it to you. Well, it's been over a year. Never got mine. So the judge dismissed the charges and released me that day. But I didn't get out that day. I mean, right away. I got out 6 hours later after they finished running makes across the country on me. When I got out, I couldn't keep fucking jobs. Every job I had, FBI come.
Wow.
FBI come and say I was a terrorist, a homegrown terrorist, cop killer, communist, anti-American, whatever the fuck, all of it. And started calling my mama's house and telling my mama to come down there and identify my body downtown at the morgue. My mama, I'm on my mama's house one day. She had just got off the phone with them dogs. And she saw me and she screamed like she saw a ghost. And she asked me to leave California. And don't tell nobody where I'm going. Friend or foe, don't tell anybody. She didn't even want to know. So I went to the furthest state I could go to it on this landmass. I went to Florida. In a little time, nobody knew who the fuck I was. But I knew the FBI knew because I never changed my name. I used my social security number. So I stayed down there for 30-something years. I worked. I still did work with my comrades. It's none of their business, none of the people's business down there. You know, we always had a phrase, them that know don't tell, them that tell don't know. And I'm a man of principles because my principles is what kept me alive. Certain things I'll do and certain things I'm not going to do. And I live by those principles, and that saved my life. And I worked down there all those years in 2000, and was it whatever that year was, 2001, when the 2 buildings came down. No sooner than 1 building hit the ground, JB was calling me. He said, "You see that?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Here they come. They're coming." JB had always had his ear close to the ground. I have to acknowledge that. He had somebody in the district attorney's office in California that was giving him information long before Kamala Harris and their people made their move. She was in on it at first until she found out about the torture, and she bailed out. She said she wasn't going to try that case. So the feds picked it up. Homeland Security picked it up under the Patriot Act on a murder of a police officer in San Francisco right after George Jackson was killed. They say a group of black men ran into the police station and shot it up and killed the police. They've been looking for him for 30-something years, and that I was one of the people involved. And that's how I became one of the San Francisco aides. And they started coming to my house, asking me questions, and I would say, man, when anybody asks you questions, that means they don't fucking know. So why are you volunteering information? They tell you from the beginning, you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. They make it pretty plain. All you got to do is say no. When they come back again, they're going to come back. Well, just for your sake, we're trying to help you. Still tell him no. Don't want your help. Need a lawyer. So they knew that they wasn't talking to me when they came to visit me. They was talking to my old lady because she never been in trouble. Never knew my back history. Now, I told her, I said, they saying all this shit for you. So you can tell me I need to talk to them. That's what that was for you, not for me. I know these people. I've been fucking with them all my life. They don't have shit. If they had something, they would never came here to talk to me. They'd have came here with a fucking warrant.
Sure.
Maybe just swoop my ass up and be gone. That shit was not for me. It was for you. And you're doing exactly what they want you to do right now by questioning me. And I told you, don't ask me no questions. That's the only way I can keep you safe. And that's why I always never told anybody anything about my life. That old town I lived in was shocked and amazed that I got arrested for that shit, San Francisco. But
So they vamped on you all at the same time, correct? So it wasn't just when they did end up snatching you up.
Took me back the first time for a grand jury. They tried to get me to testify against myself and my co-defendants, my comrade. And I took the fifth. It took me, Ray, Hank, Rich Brown, JB. We went to the front of the grand jury and refused to talk. First they took Ray, locked him up in August. Then they called Hank and locked him up. And then they called me in September and locked me and Rich Brown up. And JB, they locked him up in October. But we all got out at the end of October because the grand jury wouldn't indict us because we wouldn't testify against ourselves and we wouldn't lie on each other.
Correct.
A statement from anybody from San Francisco to help their case.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Geronimo Bell in jail. They went back to New York. They're both out of jail now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So now, when this took place, if I'm not mistaken, some of the same cops that tortured you all came to pick you up, or who is that? I think I heard somewhere along the story that some of the same.
That fucking cop came. I hadn't seen him in 30 years. When they first got dismissed, back when the judges in California, Los Angeles, in my court case, they tried to get Reuben Scott to testify against me with that torture shit. But we brought the torture up, and the judge said that anything they got on that torture was suppressed because inadmissible because it was obtained through torture. So the statements was kicked out. So when I seen him, and he got pissed off when I walked past him in the courtroom, they was taking me back to the holding tank. I asked the bitch, how do you like me now? He said, fuck you, this shit never goes away. I'll be back. That was back in 1974, he told me that.
Wow.
And that same motherfucker came back in 2007, 2006, and says, remember me? I told you I'll be back, motherfucker. And I ain't gonna leave until I see all you motherfuckers in Pelican Bay go in prison with the rest of the motherfuckers. And yeah, saw him when they dismissed it again too. I asked him once more, how you like me now, motherfucker? As I walked out of the courtroom, walked out at 850 Bryant Street, San Francisco, California.
I bet he didn't say nothing then, did he?
I ain't never been to prison in my fucking life.
Wow.
That's wild. So the crazy thing about it is you all went through all this torture and you were never in prison. So I know that part of this, as you mentioned, Jalil and Herman Bell were part of this case as well, correct?
Right.
And they're both free right now, as you mentioned. So and we've had Jalil on the program numerous times. So definitely we're glad to have you on telling your story and glad that you are free. And we're gonna definitely stay in tune with you because I think that you all have a lot to share with with our audience. One of our main things is political education. You know what I mean? Because I think that
I like that.
Yeah, because it's so many brothers and sisters out here that I think mean well, but they don't understand the depths of what's going on. I want to ask you because I know that today we're commemorating Geronimo, and it all ties in,
Oh
because,
yeah, I used to fuck with him all the time. He used to sit next to me. We'd be playing chess, Elmer Cheats,
Mhm.
You touch that piece, you got to move it, man. What are you doing? Put it back. I said, you can't put that back.
that's the second time that came up today.
I pissed him off. I called him Elmer when I called him cheat and shit. I love that cat, man. Big heart. You got a big heart.
When's the last time you saw him before he transitioned?
Yeah.
But he said he asked when was the last time you saw Uncle G before he transitioned.
I sat and talked to him with your dad. We went up to the penitentiary when your father when you guys had moved back to Louisiana, right? You remember that?
Oh yeah, we talked about that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, when your father took all your guys back to Louisiana, and he came back to get something, and he rode back with me. I had a yellow Cadillac, and I just met my wife, and I was leaving town. I just left my mom's house, and he said, "Man, before you go, let's go see G." said, yeah, let's go see Chief. And we rode up there together. Was that Mule? What was the name of that?
Mule Creek?
Prison? Mule Creek, yeah. Rode off there. That's an all-day ride. All night. We got up there, man, talked to him with Geronimo. I said, man, you would get some out these machines. Because, you eat that old dog food in there. I know you want some out these machines. So I gave him about $40 worth of change. The little dollars and change. They used a lot of slugs and shit back then. For him to go get something, we just sat there and talked. And that was the last time I seen him. Mm-hmm. And he looked good. And I went all the way to Florida. And that investigator came to see me. He came to my house. And he was saying he was investigating the case on Geronimo. And I told him I wasn't sure who he was. I need to make a phone call. So I called your Aunt Jenny. Jenny told me he was cool. So I called your dad. And he said he was cool. So I talked to the guy. And I told him I knew who did the killing. Me and Tyrone Hutchinson. If you read Geronimo's book, you'll see in there where his investigator talked to me and Tyrone Hutchinson. And I hadn't seen Tyrone in 15 years when I talked to him. And we told the man the exact same story on who did the killing that night on that tennis court. And that Geronimo wasn't there. Two cats who did the killing were members of the party. They got kicked out of the party for robbing black folks. One of them lived next door to me. And they had told me that they did that. I told them I didn't want to hear about it. Then when they busted Geronimo for it, I told Geronimo. Geronimo said, man, can't say nothing, that's snitching. We're going to win the case. That's why if you ever change your mind, but both of them niggas is dead now. That ain't snitching if they dead. They did the killing, So if you want me to testify, I will. Tyrone told him the same thing. So as investigator, if you see, you'll see it. Dobie had her, Herbie Sweetie. I knew both of them. I recruited them both into the party. Mm-hmm. They did that shit. That was some dumb shit.
Now,
they've been kicked out. Huh?
I'm glad you mentioned that because that I wanted to point out that the husband of the woman who was killed, what was her name? Carol
Olsen.
Carol, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Carol Olsen.
It's in his book, man. I still got Geronimo's book.
Yeah, the husband said he pointed out the two people and said it wasn't Geronimo, but they suppressed the evidence. Is that correct?
It don't. Yeah, the police made him say that. And the FBI. It all come out in the wash. They lied on Elmer. They know they lied on you. Just like they lied on everybody else, man. All fair in love and war, man. The one thing that we didn't look at it the way they looked at it. We were fighting a vicious opponent. We were really in a war with them. And they were truly afraid of us. Truly afraid of us. They've always been afraid of black people. Always. Because they know what the fuck they've done, man. You'd be afraid too if you know what you've done to a group of people and what you continue to do.
Bro, I was about to say what they continue to do.
And got their children doing it, their grandchildren. So pass it on. It's in their DNA. It's the way the system was designed. Never was designed for us to include us. It's never supposed to have this role.
Right on. Listen, brothers, I definitely appreciate you all coming on the platform today. I mean, it was almost like two different interviews in one.
Yeah.
And two necessary interviews. So I definitely appreciate, because I knew when a good brother said that you know, he was talking about bringing you on. I was like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? Because I wanted, I definitely know that, you know, you all have stories, you have history that need to be heard, and
Yeah.
you know, so you know, to me, it was imperative. Like I said, I remember when you all first came out to Atlanta, when you all came out together, and I'm thinking it was at Kathleen's house where that first screening was. It was downtown. I know, like I said, John Bowman was still alive, and I think it was, you know, everybody except for Herman and Jalil, of course. I was out there with Bilal Sunni Ali. We came out to the
I said what?
huh?
Was Kathleen Cleaver there?
Yeah, we was at her house, I think, if I'm not mistaken. We was at I think it was a 2-day thing. The first day we was at this brother Joe Beasley's house downtown in a loft. And then I think the next day we went to Kathleen's house.
Okay.
It's been a while. It probably was '08 or '09 or something like that. I'm thinking like 2008.
Yeah, it's been the bad time flies when you're having fun, bro.
Yeah, lot of fun. Right on. But definitely, you know, you know, we know you're gonna get healthy and get right. Looking forward to seeing you on the road. You know,
I'll be, as a matter of fact, on the 22nd of this month, I'm going to Phoenix, Arizona to see Curtis Austin.
okay.
He's writing the book on the San Francisco beat.
Oh wow. Okay.
Give me some material to read. I've been reading it. I'm gonna go over there and talk to him about some of the stuff I've been reading.
Yeah.
That he said for me to read, and he's the one who wrote the book Up Against the Wall, which
Okay.
is the best Panther book I've read on all the.
Excellent book.
I mean, you know, his book is great. I love DC's book because DC was there, you know, and DC called some shots.
Right.
I seen DC in the heat of battle. It's nothing like being tried and fired. It's nothing like learning something about somebody on your right and your left, and you know what they're gonna do and what they're not gonna do. It's hard. Because we always say we're only loyal to those who are loyal to us, and we're loyal to the cause, and we're loyal to revolution.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right on. I'm sharing it here too. I got it up here, Brother Harold. I got it not too long ago. Phil Marshall DC's book.
So you got the crisp one right now.
Yeah, with the old title on it.
Right,
but,
right.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
The old time.
Yeah.
You know, his daughter's real sweet.
Yeah.
I talked to her quite a bit. Kim Cox. She's good. She's learned a lot of stuff about her father.
Man, look at what. Oh, go ahead.
When I was underground, you know, DC snuck in the country a couple of times, and he came to see us all while we were underground.
Wow.
He came as disguised as a white dude.
What?
All straight shit.
Came disguised as a white dude.
He came there with phony ID and shit. I said, God damn, DC, you gonna heat up my spot like a motherfucker. If I get wind that they take you anywhere near here. But Jim, we had some flexibility because communications then is nothing like communications now. A lot of shit you can get away with.
Oh, they survey everything now, huh? So yeah.
You can't rob banks like that no more. You know, you gotta do it with a computer.
I know.
That Midas touch.
You know, earlier Brother Kalonji was talking about how Gil Scott-Heron and Brother G passed right around the same time. I remember that Michael Tabor in DC, I mean, they were like right in that within a year or two of that transition.
Michael Tabor. Oh, that's
from New York.
Yeah, Setawayo, yeah.
Yeah.
You knew him and you knew him too? And Zayd, you said you knew them?
Yeah. They were gorillas, man. I remember set of will. He moved to Africa. Him and Connie Matthews. They got married. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, man.
Yeah, so it was around the same year, and these stories, and like when Uncle G got out, and I went over to Africa with him, and so we'd be up late, telling these stories. I'll be asking about him, asking about y'all, asking about Rory Height, and just because stuff I read, I want to know who you know about these.
Roy Heath.
Roy Heath, as I say it.
And man, what's that boy's name? I saw him at Richard Brown's funeral.
Landon Williams.
Landon Williams.
Yeah.
Was that Landon? Yeah. He was a smart motherfucker. He beat Huey long time ago.
Oh.
So we followed a fucking maniac.
Wow. Brother, like, and I was saying, so just being with him during the time when he got out and the work that he put in when he got out, he was definitely fighting for political prisoners still, and the work he did in Africa.
See, I don't do shit without mentioning political prisoners.
Right.
My ankle was swollen up big as a damn tennis ball. I mean, big as a softball. And I was out there getting petition signed for Chip. And I ended up getting gangrene in that foot, walking around with that fucking ankle.
Darn.
And lost my toe, part of my fucking foot. But no, the struggle goes on, man. Chip went in the penitentiary when he was 19 years old.
Yeah.
First Black Panther political prisoner. He spent his first 2 years on death row. Died in a fucking wheelchair. Motherfucker wouldn't release him.
Right. That's crazy.
I talked to Chip on the phone once a week before he died.
And he was the second longest held, correct? Him after Rochelle.
Yeah. Everybody, man, right now, man, I don't do shit without mentioning political prisoners. I don't do that. But I talked about Mumbai and them. Leonard Peltier, none of them cats, man.
Jamil.
Yeah. Them good men, man. They ain't no threat to no fucking body.
That's right.
Ain't no threat to no fucking body. Let them out.
Yes.
Let them die at home.
That's right. That's right.
So, they some dirty motherfuckers. We got a vindictive enemy. He hates us more than any enemy he's ever had. He's always been afraid of us. Because he know what he did to us.
Yeah. That's exactly it. Yeah. Just what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I can say any more on that, my friend.
Hey man, we love you, brother. Like I said, looking forward to don't be a stranger. I know you came through trying not to talk. You had your mic on mute all that time, but we found a way though. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
Yeah, we always make a way, bro. We always make a way. Our line of communication runs deep. Our line of communication started with the drum, man.
No doubt.
The drum.
No doubt.
The beat of the drum.
We gonna win. We gonna definitely win. We appreciate, the sacrifice and all that you've done with us. Kwabena, if you all wanna give the people some last words before y'all bounce out, feel free, and we'll rock out from there.
Harold, when we go before you, man, so you can close it out. Let me go. If that's cool.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I just we said earlier, was talking about the work Uncle G was doing when you used to come to the pad, you and the Freeman brothers and Long John and others, and I was a little shorty, just remembering and watching what y'all was doing as a child, and then not understanding the depth of it. But I saw the rap Uncle G gave at Leimert Park once he got out, and I would ask people to check that out. It's called Welcome Home, Geronimo. It was I thought it was powerful because it was down to earth, and he just was keeping it real. And dealing with that issue, but we're struggling with this music piece. And again, we got 5 of your comrades that are going to be with us on Sunday on the CMO Tap Forum, even including Brother Welton that you mentioned earlier, Victor Houston, Mama C, Charlotte O'Neill, Mama Wanda Ross out of Chicago, and also Brother David Lemieux out of Chicago. But
I think I met those people in Chicago, man.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
And I saw you there at Fred Hampton's thing.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I saw you and Brother Blood and Brother
it was at Gene Washington, Hank Jones.
Yes, Hank Jones was there. Yep.
Yeah, and Marty was there.
Yeah.
And,
I'm not sure if Brother Che was there or not, but of course I talked to Brother Che periodically up here in Chicago. But Geronimo spoke at that forum, at that speech, about how the music is used in a psychological war on the people. He said the enemy has been tricking you. They've been hating you. They're making you turn on your brothers, on your mama, and your own family. He's been doing this through the media, through the music.
He's manipulating anything he does to his advantage. He does that. It's a weapon. Hey, man, it's in the DNA. Them are war-loving people, man. You can't name a spot on the planet where the motherfuckers didn't try to claim for themselves. The laziest people on the planet, the only thing that they're good at is warfare, destruction, colonizing, murder, plunder, stealing, taking people's shit. You know? And look, to get it back.
And they want us to celebrate 4th of July as our Independence Day.
Oh, yeah, man. Let me get off this phone. Man, y'all get me preaching to the fucking choir. Again, all I say is that, man, true to the fact, if you dare to struggle, you dare to fucking win. And that's real. That's real talk. That's all day, every day. And that's
no doubt, brother.
Because struggle is a constant struggle. And I continue to struggle. Revolution, 365 degrees. It's constant. That's all I say. You dare to struggle, you dare to win.
Right on, right on. Hey, man, we appreciate you all coming on. Like I said, this has been a monumental moment, and we're looking forward to bringing you both back on real soon. We're gonna win in spite of ourselves.
That's right.
So definitely,
gotta have that undying love for the people, man.
Without question.
Right on.
We gotta love ourselves before we can do anything else.
No doubt. Y'all be safe out there. We're gonna catch you in the whirlwind. And till next time.
Look to be there.
All right, brother. Right on, man. Appreciate you. All right, Brother Harold.
All right, bro.
Right on. You're checking out RSTV. That right there was probably the most important thing that you saw all day. The most important thing you heard all day. What I'm going to ask you to do is go share this particular piece, because for folks that missed it, they're slipping. That was Brother Harold Taylor from the LA chapter of the Black Panther Party, also the San Francisco 8, a lifelong freedom fighter, a man of principles, as you heard, and also our brother Kwabena, who is the nephew of Geronimo Ji-Jaga. We say rise in power to Geronimo on this particular day. Rise in power to Gil Scott Heron, Yuri Kochiyama, and all other freedom fighters who we lost along the way. I want to also say that, as Brother Harold said, we have to fight for the release of political prisoners. If you're not talking about political prisoners, he put it a little bit milder than I'm gonna put it. You ain't talking about shit. You ain't talking about jack shit. Don't tell me about no reparations. If you're not talking about political prisoners, you're not talking about reparations. Okay? So stay on the right side, lay low and keep firing. You're checking out RSTV, Black Power Media. Till next time, as the comrade put it, dare to struggle, dare to win. And in the immortal words of Chairman Fred, dare to struggle, dare to win. If you don't dare to struggle, then goddamn it, you don't deserve to win. We out.